Yaman, the name alone already stirs emotions, headlines, and endless debates across social media. But this time, what made the world stop and listen wasn't a new TV drama, a glamorous appearance, or even one of his fiery interviews. No, this moment was different. This time, the Turkish star spoke not as the international celebrity adored by millions, but as a man, vulnerable and sincere, finally breaking a silence that had lasted for years. And the words he chose? They were directed at none other than Demet Özdemir. The story of Can and Demet has been told countless times, on television, in magazines, and in the minds of fans who still refuse to let go of the idea that what they once shared on screen may have been more than fiction. Their chemistry and Erkenci Kuss was so undeniable that people all over the world began to believe in them as a real couple. Yet, behind the flashing cameras and fan theories, there were wounds left unhealed, moments left unsaid, and questions that never received answers. That's why when Yaman, during an interview that was supposed to be about his latest projects, suddenly paused, lowered his voice, and began to speak about the past, the atmosphere in the room shifted completely. Gone was the confident actor who dominates European screens. What remained was a man carrying the weight of regret, of memories he couldn't fully escape. And then came the moment no one expected. Can looked directly at the interviewer and, without hesitation, admitted that he owed Demet something that had been missing all these years, an apology. The word itself seemed to echo. For a star as proud and fiery as Can, to publicly say "I'm sorry" was something that no one could have imagined. But it happened, and those watching knew they were witnessing history in the making. His voice trembled ever so slightly, a detail that fans picked up instantly and replayed over and over on social media. He spoke of mistakes, of decisions made in haste, of phone calls left unanswered. And although he never went into explicit detail, everyone knew exactly what he meant. He was referring to the end of that chapter with Demet, the breakup that still haunts fans today. As clips of the interview spread like wildfire, hashtags trended across Twitter and Instagram, hashtag Can Yaman apology, hashtag Demet and Can, and even hashtag forgive him Demet. People from Italy to Brazil, from Turkey to the United States, all shared their shock and admiration. Some cried, some doubted, but everyone agreed on one thing: Can Yaman had finally broken the silence. For years, fans had speculated about what really happened between Can Yaman and Demet Özdemir. Some believed it was nothing more than a brief on-set romance, others insisted it was a deep love story hidden from the public eye. But what everyone agreed on was this: something had broken between them, and it had never been repaired. So, when Can spoke of regrets, the world leaned in closer. He admitted, without giving names, that he had been too proud at a time when humility was needed most. He confessed that he had chosen silence when he should have chosen words, and distance when what was truly needed was closeness. Those who know the history instantly connected the dots. He was speaking about Demet. What struck people most was the vulnerability in his tone. Can Yaman, often seen as the strong, unshakable figure of Turkish and Italian television, revealed himself in that moment to be fragile, human, and deeply emotional. "There are calls I never returned, messages I never answered," he admitted, looking down for a brief moment. The cameras caught it, and the world noticed. For Demet, who had herself given emotional interviews in the past, sometimes hinting at old wounds, sometimes smiling as if to hide them, this apology was monumental. It wasn't just about the past relationship, it was about acknowledgement. It was about one of the most admired men in the entertainment industry finally saying, "I made mistakes, and I know I hurt you." Social media went into overdrive. Fan pages created entire compilations of Can and Demet's moments together, now overlaid with the words of his apology. Some called it the closure we all needed, while others wondered if it was the beginning of something new. Could this public apology mean reconciliation? Or was it simply a way for Can to finally set himself free from the ghosts of the past? Meanwhile, the press was relentless. Headlines in Turkey, Italy, and Spain ran stories about the tearful apology and the emotional confession that stunned fans. Gossip shows dissected every word, every pause, every glance of Can's face during the interview. Some journalists praised his honesty, while others criticized him for reopening wounds that Demet had perhaps already closed. But no matter the opinion, one fact was undeniable: this apology had become an international sensation. What made it even more powerful was the timing. Yaman is at the peak of his career, preparing for major projects and international collaborations. To risk his carefully built image by showing vulnerability at this stage was not something his management team would have ever advised. And yet, he did it anyway. Why? Because sometimes the heart speaks louder than strategy. And in that moment, Can chose his heart. In the days following the interview, the question on everyone's mind was simple: how would Demet react? Would she respond with words of forgiveness? Would she stay silent, as she often has when her private life becomes the center of public speculation? Or would she perhaps surprise everyone with a statement of her own? Fans scrolled through Demet's Instagram page, searching for hidden clues. Every story she posted, every caption she wrote, was analyzed like a secret message. When she shared a photo of herself smiling on set just a day after Can's apology, comments flooded in: "Is that a sign you've forgiven him?" Or "She looks happier than ever, maybe his words gave her peace." Insiders close to the actress revealed that Demet was indeed aware of Can's emotional confession. According to one source, she watched the clip in private and was moved, though it's still unclear whether she will respond publicly. What is certain, however, is that the apology has reopened a chapter of their story that many thought was closed forever. But perhaps what made Can's words so striking wasn't just the apology itself, it was the sincerity behind it. Too often in the world of celebrities, apologies are polished, rehearsed, carefully prepared by PR teams. This was not that. His pauses were real, his trembling voice unedited, his eyes filled with something raw. It felt genuine, and that's why millions believed it. For fans who have followed the Can-Demet saga from the very beginning, this was more than just celebrity gossip. It was personal. Viewers remembered the first time they saw them together on screen, the playful banter, the stolen glances, the chemistry that seemed too real to be just acting. They remembered the rumors, the heartbreak, the distance that grew between them. And now, years later, they were witnessing a form of closure they never expected. Media analysts even commented on the cultural significance of the moment. Here was one of Turkey's most famous actors, adored across Europe, bravely admitting vulnerability in a world where male stars are expected to project nothing but confidence. His emotional honesty was not just about love, it was about challenging stereotypes, about showing that even the strongest can carry regrets. The ripple effect was undeniable. Across Italy, Spain, and Latin America, regions where both Can and Demet have loyal fan bases, television shows replayed the apology clip on loop. Morning talk shows debated what it meant. Evening gossip programs asked, "Is this the beginning of a reunion?" The public couldn't get enough. And yet, the most emotional reactions came from the fans themselves. On Twitter, one user wrote, "I cried watching this. You can feel the love he still has for her." Another posted, "We waited years for him to say this. Finally, justice for Demet." And countless others shared the same message: love like theirs never truly ends. As the whirlwind of reactions continued, one thing became clear: Yaman's apology had changed the narrative. For years, the story had been one of silence, two stars who once shared something powerful, then drifted apart, leaving fans with only rumors and unanswered questions. But now, the silence had been broken, and the world was listening. Industry insiders began speculating about the potential impact on both of their careers. Could this confession reignite interest in a reunion project? Some producers were reportedly already whispering about the possibility of casting them together again, knowing that the world would watch with explosive curiosity. After all, what better marketing tool could there be than an apology that made international headlines? But beyond the speculation, what mattered most was the human element. Yaman's words revealed a truth that transcended fame: no matter how successful, no matter how adored, every person carries regrets. Every person has moments they wish they could rewrite. And sometimes, the bravest act is to stand before the world and admit it. For Demet, whether she chooses to respond or not, the apology already carries weight. It acknowledges her pain, validates her experience, and confirms what fans always suspected, that what happened between them was real, meaningful, and unforgettable. Even if time and circumstances pulled them apart, the bond they shared left a mark that even years of silence could not erase. The final image fans were left with was powerful. Yaman, usually composed and larger than life, momentarily stripped of his celebrity armor, letting the world see his vulnerability. His eyes heavy with unspoken emotion, his voice carrying the weight of years gone by. And in that moment, the line between actor and man disappeared. As one fan perfectly wrote online, this wasn't Yaman the star speaking. This was Ken the man, finally asking for forgiveness. The story doesn't end here. Whether Demet responds, whether the two ever reconnect, or whether this remains a single chapter of closure, it has already secured its place in the hearts of millions. The apology wasn't just shocking, it was cathartic. It reminded people of the love they believed in, the heartbreak they felt alongside them, and the hope that maybe, just maybe, some wounds can still heal. In the end, what the world witnessed was not scandal, but sincerity. Not gossip, but growth. And for once, in a world where celebrity news often feels empty, Yaman's apology to Demet Özdemir gave fans something real, something human. And that is why, years from now, people will still remember this moment, the day Yaman broke his silence, the day he apologized, and the day millions of hearts were moved forever.